Sandler rule number 4, a decision not to make a decision is a decision. That's a lot of words. What does that even mean? Well, when you are in a selling situation, there are a number of different outcomes that you might get. Now, obviously the one that we all want to hear is yes. Yes, let's do business together. And that's always nice when that happens, but it's not going to happen every single time. So we also know that a valid outcome is no. Because, there are 7.8 billion people on the planet and not every single one of them is going to be lucky enough to qualify to be your client. Some of them don't even qualify to be your prospect. They don't all have the problems that you can solve. So that's fair enough. No is a valid outcome. It's the second best thing to hear after a yes. Why is it the second best thing to hear after a yes? Because it means that you've saved time. You've saved time that you can now go and spend talking to somebody who potentially might be a prospect. That doesn't mean you have to be arrogant about it in disqualifying the previous person. It just means that actually you're not wasting their time and they're not wasting yours. So the worst thing that you can hear as a salesperson, as a professional salesperson, is think it over. I want to think it over. Why is that the worst thing that you can hear? Well, because often, not always, but often, when you hear, I want to think it over, the reality is that what they're saying to you is no. It's just they're too polite to say it, which means that the only person thinking it over is, well, you. And often what it really means is that when you pick up the phone to talk to this person again, they see your number come up and they think, oh, I wish I hadn't told him think it over. I'll just let that go to voicemail. I won't answer that just now. And you start getting a lifetime subscription to their voicemail instead of actually being able to talk to them. Whereas if they just said no in the first place, it would have been so much simpler. But time is your one non-renewable resource, so you owe it both to your prospect and to yourself to make sure that you understand what they really mean when they say think it over. Get yourself a clear future. Get yourself clarity on what the next steps might actually be. If they're going to think it over, what exactly are they thinking about? What do they need to talk about? Is there anything that they need to talk about with their business partner? If so, what is that business partner likely to ask? What are those next steps that lead them to need to think it over? You don't have to be pushy with this. You can just ask in a nice, nurturingly assertive way, but stand your ground and make sure that you do actually ask those questions, because if you don't, well, unfortunately, you've got nobody but yourself to blame for the fact you've got a lifetime subscription to that person's voicemail. Because a decision not to make a decision often is actually a decision. Sandler rule number 4.